Hey, are you looking to improve your overhead mobility for gymnastics or weightlifting? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you one exercise that can drastically improve your overhead positions. Hi, I'm Vincent from Upright Health, where we help you think right, move right, and feel right. If you're new to the channel, be sure to check out the helpful links to our do-it-yourself programs in the description box below. So the exercise in question is the butcher's block. This is how I coach the butcher's block. I'm gonna have Mitch grab the PVC pipe with a grip that places his wrists outside of his elbows. Next, I'm gonna have Mitch place his elbows on the bench while maintaining that wrist outside of elbow grip. Next, I've got three things for Mitch to think about. Number one is rib positioning. Mitch is going to pull his bottom ribs towards his pelvis. Notice how that creates this slight rounding right here in the mid-back. I'm gonna have Mitch drive his elbows through the bench so that his shoulder blades get flush to his rib cage. Notice how they're going away from his spine. And thirdly, I'm gonna have Mitch try to break the bar apart while keeping his elbows in the same place so that he's trying to do this to the bar. So three things: rib positioning, scapula positioning, and shoulder positioning. Next, while maintaining those three things, I'm gonna have Mitch sink his chest towards the floor only as far as he can go while maintaining those three things: ribs, scapula, shoulder. And wherever he gets to, he may feel a stretch in his lats, he may feel a stretch in his triceps. When he's there, he's gonna take 10 deep breaths, and that's one set. So common mistakes. Number one, letting the ribs flare and hyperextending through the mid-back. Watch what happens when Mitch dive bombs into the bottom position without engaging his obliques. There's a huge arch right here, whereas in a good rep, where Mitch engages his obliques, tucks his ribs towards his pelvis, now there's a slight rounding in the mid-back, and this is what we want to see. Mistake number two, letting the shoulder blades come off of the rib cage. Mitch, show us what that looks like. So notice how here you can see the edges of his shoulder blades sticking out off his rib cage, and they're very close to the spine. Whereas in a good rep, Mitch drives his elbows through the bench, and this helps his shoulder blades spread apart on his rib cage and move away from his spine. Mistake number three, not actively trying to pull the bar apart. Now without the bar, a proper rep should still look like this. Whereas an improper rep, Mitch would have no tension in his shoulders, and that's what happens. So that's mistake number three, not actively trying to pull the bar apart. And mistake number four, trying to drop the chest as far down as possible without regard for ribs, scapula, and shoulder positioning. Mitch shows what that looks like. Notice how Mitch is just dive bombing into the bottom position. His ribs are flaring, his mid-back is hyperextending, his shoulder blades are moving too close to the spine and coming off of the rib cage, and there's no tension in his shoulders. He's not trying to break the bar apart, he's just letting them go. So let's say you've just started this exercise, it's your first day, or you're just feeling very stiff that day. If this is as far down as you can go while maintaining ribs, scapula, and shoulders, that's totally fine. Stay there. That's your exercise for the day. You do not need to exaggerate the range of motion if it causes you to lose your rib positioning, your scapula positioning, and your shoulder positioning. So that's mistake number four. Now let's go into the why of this exercise. So how does this butcher's block carry over to your overhead activities? Well, in any activity where you're getting your arms overhead, it's not just your shoulder joint that you need to be articulating. You also need to be controlling for where your ribs are in space and where your scapula sits on your rib cage. Because let's say I am raising my arms overhead, but I can't control my ribs, I can't control my scapula, and I don't have enough shoulder mobility to get my arms all the way overhead. What's gonna happen? My back is gonna hyperextend like so, my ribs are gonna flare, maybe my shoulder blades will come off my rib cage a little bit, and I'm reaching overhead, I'm reaching as high as I can, but it's not through shoulder range of motion. And it's not the end of the world if you're constantly moving like this. But if you happen to be in pain, if you happen to be getting back pain or pain around your shoulder blades or pain in your biceps or your shoulder joint, then this is one exercise that you really should explore so that you can better control what parts of your body are not moving and what parts of your body are moving when you are raising your arms overhead, whether in your sports practice or in everyday life. And that is the why of this exercise. All right, and that's the video, guys. If you want more content on how to improve your shoulder mobility for sports and general health, check out the content in the description box below. And if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with anyone who may also find it helpful. As always, remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't. Become just like this giant wiki. People are just gonna get lost on it. All right, and that's the video, guys. If you found it helpful, that's the video, guys. If you'd like to know, oh, there you go.